Hi guys, welcome back to the Checkbook channel. Today in this video I'm going to be naming my best Tottenham Hotspur 11 in my time watching Spurs. Obviously I am only 14, I've only been watching Spurs for about 8-7 years, so not too long compared of course to older fans and some of my friends as well, but I'm still going to be naming my best 11 from Spurs, as I said, since I've been watching football. So without further ado, let's get into it. But the goalkeeper, the only real goalkeeper I've seen a lot of is, of course, our goalkeeper right now, Hugo Lloris. I think he's gone a little bit downhill recently. I feel like this season he has made a couple errors, but you know, back in the day he was a brilliant keeper. So yeah, I mean, he's lost it a little bit, but you know, sometimes he does show his world-class talent inside of him. So yeah, for me, the best goalkeeper I've seen at Spurs is Hugo Lloris. I have seen like Gomez and a very little of Brad Friedel, and of course Vaughan. That doesn't get anywhere close. But yeah, Hugo Lloris is the goalkeeper. Right back, I'm going to go for Kyle Walker. He was a brilliant fullback. We had the best fullbacks in we had the best defence in the league a couple of years ago, which I'll get onto in a minute. Yeah, Walker was a massive part of that. Of course, he's gone to Man City now and he's been winning trophies left, right and centre with them. And yeah, he's a brilliant fullback. He's fast. His technical ability is very good. And overall, he's just a very, very good fullback. And Spurs kind of do need fullbacks. Or yeah, he's okay, but it doesn't really. He's not very consistent. So yeah, for me, Kyle Walker at Spurs. Yeah, I definitely remember those days. Kyle Walker and Danny Rose running down the wing. Those were some good days. The two centre backs are once again two centre backs still at the club now, and that is Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld. But I would say their best period was probably from like 2015 to like 2017. Our last couple years at White Hart Lane, we were amazing. I think one of them was when we finished third, when that freak season when Leicester City won the league, and then I remember Chelsea won the league. And then Chelsea won the league. I think during our last season at White Hart Lane, and our last season at the Lane, we were amazing. And those two, our whole back four, as I said a moment ago, was one of the best in the league. We barely conceded. We scored handfuls of goals of beating teams 3-4, 5-0 every game, home and away, mainly home to be fair. But yeah, I miss that Tottenham Hotspur, and our defence was absolutely amazing. So I would say Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen from about 2015 to 2017. Left back, I'm going to go for Danny Rose. And I'm going to go for Danny Rose up to about probably like the start of this season, to be honest, up to 2018-19. He was a great fullback many years ago. I mean, to be fair, not necessarily many. A couple of years ago, I should say, he was a brilliant fullback with us. As I said, Walker and Rose, Toby and Jan was one of the best back four in the league. And yeah, Rose, he was fast, he didn't mind getting stuck into the action. Yeah, he was brilliant, Danny Rose. So for me, left back in my dream Tottenham Hotspur 11. Moving on to the midfield now. The first midfielder is someone that Spurs haven't looked the same since he left. And for me, this is Moussa Dembele. I don't think anyone really noticed how good he was for us until, of course, he left the club, and then our mistakes in the middle and at the back came very, very obvious. And that's because since then we've never really had world class holding midfielder. Of course, we've got Sissoko and Ndombele, but to be fair, our whole team has been injured this season. but they have been in and out of injuries this season. But Spurs just haven't looked the same without Moussa Dembele. He was a brick in the middle. Moussa Dembele, one of the best midfielders I've seen in Spurs, and once again, he was the best midfielder in the league a couple of years ago. So yeah, I think every Spurs fan misses him to bits. For me, Moussa Dembele is definitely one of the midfielders. Moving on to the other midfielder, I'm going to go for Nunca Roderick. Now, I didn't see much of him. I believe I only saw about two and a bit, maybe 3 seasons of him. So really not that much. But of course, if you ask any Spurs fan, brilliant midfielder, even to this day, at Real Madrid, he's a brilliant midfielder. And yeah, Spurs were very lucky to have him at the time, and of course did sell him on to Real Madrid, where he is now. But yeah, Nunca Roderick, he was a brilliant central midfielder for Spurs. And yeah, once again, Spurs really do miss him, and that's the same, I think, for most players in this squad that aren't at the club now, that we are missing a lot of these players since they've all left the club. So yeah, Nunca Roderick is the other midfielder. Then I actually struggled a bit to find another midfielder, and personally, I don't think this is too controversial, but I'm not sure how many fans would go for this player, and I'm going to go for Christian Eriksen. Of course, his Spurs career did not end well at all, but yeah, he used to be brilliant. I mean, not even that long ago, even when we were playing at Wembley, he was a brilliant midfielder, scoring goals as well. He was a brilliant midfielder, and then of course this season, yes, of course, he has gone downhill massively. Fans were booing him, wanting him out of the club. His attitude at the end of his career at Tottenham Hotspur was embarrassing, embarrassing to say the least. And I think he did quite disrespect the club. Towards the end, he wanted just to run down his contract so he could get a better move to maybe Real Madrid. But right now, I don't think he's anywhere. I wouldn't say anywhere near, but I don't think he's got the quality to play and slot in Real Madrid's team. But that takes nothing away from the Christian Eriksen from a couple of years ago. He was magnificent, and for me, that is why he is in my Tottenham Hotspur Dream 11. So moving on to the attack, the first player that fits straight into my team is that man over there on the wall, Harry Kane. He is a brilliant striker. Of course, this season he's had a massive injury in the season. He's been suspended for God knows how long. So we've only really seen like half the season of Kane this season. But yeah, he is world class, one of the best strikers in the league. He's better than Aubameyang, I don't care what anyone says. And he's possibly up there with Sergio Aguero within the Premier League strikers. But yeah, he's definitely better than Aubameyang, that's not even a conversation. When Harry Kane's fit, one of the most clinical strikers in world football, and that is why he is in the team. Number 10, Harry Kane. Moving on to the other attacker, I'm going to go for GB, of course, Gareth Bale. He's a Tottenham Hotspur legend, and he will always be a legend for the club. He was amazing. Once, just like Nunca Roderick, didn't see too much of Bale. I believe I saw a bit more. I think I saw a bit more of Bale than I did with Modric, to be honest. But yeah, Bale, he was quality. The goals he scored weren't normal from any different angle. That left foot of his was absolutely magnificent. He was pacey. He was a clinical finisher, and of course that's what Spurs are really missing at the moment. We're really missing a clinical striker up top, because Dele Alli, of course, is playing up front or as a false 9, and it's not really working. But yeah, Gareth Bale, he was brilliant at Spurs. So yeah, that is why he is in my starting 11. And to end off this dream Tottenham Hotspur 11, I have gone for number 18, Jermaine Defoe. Wow, I mean, he's up there with one of my favourite Spurs players ever. Yeah, I mean, I remember the last game he played for Spurs, or after he retired, or before he announced. Sorry, not retired. I think it was on his last game for Spurs. He said a few words. I think it was at half time or whatever. And I actually started crying. And I just said to and obviously my parents, both my parents were there, and of course they wondered why I was crying, so I just said that I had a bad stomach, and that was why I was crying. But no, I was terribly upset when Jermaine Defoe left the club. He was brilliant for Spurs once again, like all these players back in the day. At some point, they were all brilliant for Spurs. Jermaine Defoe, he's a legend. In my eyes, he'll always be a legend of the club. Scoring goals left, right and centre, right foot, left foot, even header, and he's not even the tallest of players. So yeah, Jermaine Defoe, one of my favourite Spurs players of all time, makes his way into the starting 11. So there we go, that was my Tottenham Hotspur Dream 11. What are your guys, if you're a Spurs fan? Let me know some of your favourite players from back in the day and who would make your starting 11. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.